I landed my first cybersecurity role about 8 months ago, and it has been a journey. It has been really fun and really challenging and kind of crazy to see all the growth that's happened within me, and the learning and just getting my hands dirty with cybersecurity work, doing the really cool technical stuff, and just learning a bunch of stuff. So you might have some questions about this job that I've landed. How did I get the job? What do I do? And how I've found doing this new role. How did I get this job? Well, you may know, if you this is the first time you've joined me, I spent the whole of 2023 studying for three certifications. My goal was to become a pen tester. So what I did was I studied a bunch. I did the EJPT, which is the Junior Penetration Tester certification by INE. I also did the Web Application Penetration Tester by INE as well. And then I studied for the PNPT, which is a Practical Network Penetration Tester exam, from TCM Security, which was a phenomenal experience. But anyways, I spent all of last year studying those things, working through Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, and just documenting my journey on LinkedIn and on YouTube here. There's a bunch of videos that I've done previously about those exams, my experience, and the stuff that I was learning and all of that. So that was kind of part of it. I connected with a bunch of people from the industry. So I went to local meetups like Sec Talks, and went to conferences and really kind of invested in the community. Got involved in one of the best Discords, the Hack Smarter community. It was Work Smarter, now it's Hack Smarter. And that is by Tyler Ramsby and a bunch of other guys and girls who moderate. I'm part of the moderation team there. So really got connected in early on, in those communities. And early last year, I reached out to the person who is now my boss, asking for advice. I wanted to catch up with coffee, asking for advice, and they were super busy. So they gave me the advice straight back in Messenger form, saying, look, if you want to be a pen tester, get really good at web apps, do Burp, like really understand Burp Suite, and just demonstrate your skills. So I just kind of like put my head down, did those things, learnt a lot. But thing that it did was it put me on their radar. So they were watching me, watching the stuff that I was doing, learning about me. And as I studied, eventually towards the end of 2023, they reached out and said, hey, we're looking for new security consultants, new security analysts. Would you like a job? And I'd honestly, at that point, I'd been really taking a step back. Okay, I've done all this pen testing training, but 2024 is coming. What am I going to do next year? Am I going to go for the OSCP? Is that really necessary? I was feeling quite burnt out from the study. I knew I wasn't spending a lot of time with my family as much as I wanted to be. And so I felt like I needed to kind of change tack. And I also was aware that pen testing is it's a super popular job, but there's not as much demand for it. Was kind of taking a step back and going, do I need to go blue team first? Will I be able to move into pen testing that way, or that kind of thing? Anyways, this kind of made the decision for me. So my now boss reached out and asked if I was ready for a security job. And I said, look, I would love to do that. They said, look, it's not a strictly pen testing role. You will get to do pen testing, but most of your time will be on the SOC, because that's kind of where we have most of our money coming in from. And so I decided, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get a foot in the door, and we'll see how we go. And this will kind of give me the best of both worlds. I'll get to do SOC, I'll get to do pen testing, I'll get to learn about both, and really experience both, which is awesome. That's actually been such a cool experience doing both. But eventually I went in, did my interview. They really liked me, and I got hired. So then I started in January of 2024, and now it is August. So it's been about 8 months, and it's been really fun. So what do I do on a day-to-day basis? As I said before, it wasn't the job that I was kind of hoping for, pen testing, solely pen testing. But I get to do both. I get to do SOC and I get to do pen testing. And that's actually been way more interesting than I thought it would be. I was nervous because I hadn't done any defensive stuff before, any blue teaming or anything like that. But I found that all the pen testing study, all the hacking, all the red teaming, learning that I've done has actually really helped me understand the SOC in a way that is so much more holistic than I would have thought if I'd just done a defensive role or defensive study before, which is really cool. And this is, for me, I'm finding that I'm thinking about pen testing in a completely different way because I'm also thinking about the SOC. I'm thinking about how we do detection and response, how incidents get alerted, and that kind of thing. But I'm also thinking about, okay, when I'm going into an incident, how would an attacker be doing a certain action? Why is this being alerted? And how can I remediate going forward? So having this mixed role is actually really, really cool and really beneficial. And it's kind of opened me up to technical security as a whole, not just offensive security, but also defensive security. And I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what this does for my career in the future, and the experience that I'm gaining from this first role as a SOC analyst and as a pen tester, it's really cool to have the mix of two. On a day-to-day basis, most of the time is spent with the SOC. When we have pen testing engagements, which happens for me personally, I'm on about 2 engagements a month that last about a week long each. And that's just on average. So most of the time is spent in the SOC. So I'm learning a lot about detection and response, how to use things like Cortex XDR, because we're a Palo Alto shop, and learning more about the operating systems, learning about normal behavior within a system, and learning how to investigate incidents, learning to see what triggers alerts and all of that kind of stuff, which has been really cool because it's just added a new dimension to my technical abilities. Then when I have my pen tests, I spend the week doing those, actually doing the pen test, then reporting and reading over my report, reviewing and then sending those off, which is really good. So this role is very much a half and half kind of role, SOC and pen test. Now, how have I found it? Look, to be honest, I wasn't sure about doing blue team. I'd spent a lot of time hacking, and it just I was a bit nervous coming into it. But now that I've been there for about 8 months, I've really enjoyed the ability to change between 2 different roles. I don't get bored. I'm someone who feels like I can't be doing the same thing every day. And so being able to do pen testing and then go over to SOC in the downtime between pen tests is like a really good way, I find, to kind of sharpen 2 skills, and to keep the mind engaged in what I'm doing. And so then I'm fresh for the next pen test, or I'm fresh for the SOC again, and I don't feel like I'm getting burnt out on the same thing, always responding to incidents or always trying to find issues with an application or with a network. And I think that's a really cool balance of both. So it's been really fun, and I'm learning a lot and getting exposed to both sides of technical security. For me, reporting was a bit of a shock. I'd done a teeny bit, but not really enough to say, yeah, I know how to report vulnerabilities and risk to clients and all of that. So thinking, how do I present to a business? How do I communicate to executives? And all of that was like completely new to me. So overall, I've really enjoyed this role. I'm really glad to have the opportunity to do a role where I can do both offensive and defensive security. It's given me a really deep appreciation for both sides. And it's really taught me a lot about security in general and thinking about IT and how we can secure systems in a better way, and thinking through not just from a you can get hacked, but also how can we prevent things from happening? How can we detect and respond quickly? It's really cool. I'm really, really enjoying it. Let me know in the comments if there's anything from this video that you want me to expand on or talk about a little bit more, share with you about this job, and where you are in your journey of landing a cybersecurity job, or if you already have one. And I'll see you in the next one.